Agendas. So, what advice would you give for parents out there raising their kids to raise lifelong devout Catholics?
We should do a whole show on this sometime.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm coming at it from a unique position because I've been there, done that. My oldest daughter's 42. My youngest daughter's 29. And I have to say we've been successful. They're all wonderful Catholic families, awesome. Hard workers. They all bought their own houses in their early 20s without asking me for a dime because I taught them how to use money from the beginning. But I would say, first of all, that parents have to be real. They have to love the faith, be real, genuine with their kids, and realize that kids will love what their parents love. Mm-hmm. If you dads spend all your time on the couch eating potato chips, drinking beer, and watching football, what do you think your boys are going to do when they get older?
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to spend all their time sitting on the couch, drinking beer, yelling at their wife, eating potato chips, and watching football. Kids are going to love what their parents love. They're going to want to be like their parents. My kids all got married young. And I said to them, why did you get married young? They said, Dad, because we watched you and Mom had so much fun being married, we couldn't wait to get married too.
How cool is that?
That's awesome.
That's
yeah.
great.
And so you have to give kids an example. Fathers are so important for sons. Detroit, if you look at my blog about 2 weeks ago, I put up an article about why Detroit is in the bad way it is. 75% of the boys do not have a father living in their home with them.
Wow.
How can you start a society, raise a society without a father around? Who do they look up to as the manly figure?
Yeah.
Pimps, drug addicts.
Yeah. Social
the guys
media.
with the guns and the tattoos on their arms.
Yeah.
Those are who they look up to as the male figure. Girls need dads. If dad's not there to say, you're beautiful and I love you, and even when my girl got older and they got breasts, and I'd still say, get over here and sit on my lap. You're a beautiful daughter and I love you, and I'd give them a hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go find some sleazy scumbag in the back seat of a car to tell him that he loves her. Dad loves her.
Amen.
When any guy would come to our house, I had daughter, they'd say, Dad, so-and-so wants to, be friends with me. We didn't let our kids date. You do things in groups. You're not going to go out on one-to-one until you're 18. But Dad, somebody, he likes me. I said, okay, tell him to come on over. So we'd have the whole family sitting there with my son. And he'd come in and he'd see us all sitting there, this guy, and he'd kind of look around and say, see, so we're a friendly, we just want to meet you. You want to be friends with my daughter? That's fine. We just like to meet you first. Because I said, I want you to know that I love this girl and I got a lot of money invested in her. I got a lot of time invested in her. And we love her here. And she's a wonderful young lady made in the image of God. And if you ever touch her in a way that I would not touch her, I'm going to break both your kneecaps. And the kid would go, and my son would say, don't laugh, Dad means it and I'll help. The good guys stayed around, the bad guys left. And every one of my daughter's husbands had that speech read to him. One was a military guy. He's bigger than me. And he was 26. My daughter says, you're not going to give him that. I said, I sure am. So when he came over, I said, I want you to know, I gave him the speech. I said, this girl's my daughter. If you want to marry her, you ever touch her before you're married, mess with my daughter, I'll break both your kneecaps. I said, I know you're military bigger than me, but I'll get you from behind. And
all's
then
fair in love and war.
A young man
that's
will
right.
fight you. An old
And I
man will
also
hurt
let him know that when you say you love my wife, my daughter, and you're going to marry her, that's for a lifetime.
Amen.
Before you make that decision, you think long and clear, because you got me to deal with if you ever come and say, I don't love your daughter anymore. I said, you're going to love her as long as you live, or you got me to deal with. Mm-hmm. All of them said, yes, sir. But I think that's the way we have to relate to our kids. We got to be real. Dads, you guys, more than the wife. She's the nurturer. She's the lover. The father has to be the strong male example for his daughter to protect her. I could tell you stories of what I did to protect my daughters. My daughter moved out to go to college. She was 17. Our kids started college early because they were homeschooled. They all started at 15 or 16. But she went to a town near us, and she lived with 3 girls on the first floor, and 3 guys rented the apartment above her. and because and all the kids had to go to the local community college. I wanted to have my eyes on them for the first 2 years of college. Well, she called one night and said, Dad, the guys down upstairs were making a lot of noise, and we asked them to be quiet, and they got mad, and they just sliced the tires on my car.
What?
Whoa.
This was at 9 o'clock in the morning. I said, I'll be right over. I went over there. I said, where's this guy? He's upstairs sleeping. So I went up the door. I went up into his house upstairs. I just walked in. Two guys in the living room. I said, where's this guy? She's in there sleeping. I walked into his bedroom. I grabbed that kid out of bed. And I said, my name's Steve Ray. My daughter lives up down below. And I heard you sliced her tires. You're paying for them. And if you ever mess with my daughter again, next time I'm not going to be as friendly as I am this time. You don't want to mess with me.
Yeah.
This is what you have to do for a daughter.
Absolutely.
Dads have to stick up for them. They have to. The daughter should know Dad loves me and he thinks I'm beautiful. Mm-hmm. He thinks I'm smart. And I don't need some scumbag to tell me that in the back seat of a station wagon.
Amen.
So dads have. This is the best thing. Also, the best thing you can do for your kids is get rid of the television. Mm-hmm. Get rid of it.
Awesome.
My dad would not buy me a television. He read me stories every night. My kids did not have television. I read books to them. My grandkids, none of them have television.
That's great.
And they don't have iPhones either until they're 18. So what do my kids do? They read books together. Now, we have a television, but we don't have cable or anything network. We have DVDs, and we watch movies like I Love Lucy and Andy Griffith.
Yep.
And all the good, great family movies. No stupid, grungy commercials. And we talk about them together. This is what you do as a family. Get rid of the television. Control schooling. If you can't homeschool, you better darn well be involved in whatever they're learning and be involved and know what the teachers are teaching them. Because now they're trying to teach them LGBT and all this other nonsense. Parents are the primary educators of their children, even if the children go to another school, and that teacher better watch and know that you are listening to everything that teacher says so that they're accountable to you. They work for you. Mm-hmm. The teachers that work for you, you are their employers. So these are all, Steve, spend your best hours of the day with your kids. These are all things you got to do as a family.
I think what just happened in the last 3 minutes or 15 minutes is Jesus just brought you the 3 men that you needed to evangelize to today. We've got several daughters between us.
Yes,
and I'm fired up. So you've changed.
Can I tell you one more story?
Please, yeah, this is not a segue. I'm just telling you what happened just now. That's all.
I'll tell you another story. My daughter was 16. I just got her car. And she had a boyfriend. He was from our parish, but I knew he was not a good guy. And my suspicion proved true because he went out and got girls pregnant, got into drugs and everything after this. But I could see it in his eyes. Dads always know about the guys that want to meet their girls. Trust your first instincts. Trust your judgment. This guy wanted to meet my daughter, and I told my daughter, he's not worthy of you. He's not allowed to see you, period. I don't care what you think. I'm the dad. You're 16. When you're 21, you decide, but not now. I do. And you're not allowed to see him, and he's not allowed to see you. Well, I got a phone call from this guy. And he said, I heard you said I can't see your daughter. I said, you're damn right I did. You're not worthy of her. He says, I want to come over and talk to you. I said, come on over. So he did, to his credit. But I told him, I reaffirmed you're not allowed to see my daughter. Well, about a week later, I got an anonymous phone call that they were going to meet at a movie theater. Oh. So I drove our four-wheel drive over, and I parked in the back of that parking lot with my other 2 daughters and my wife. I wanted my other 2 daughters to learn from their older sister. We waited. My daughter came out of the theater. This guy came walking across the parking lot to meet her. Now, I found out later that she didn't plan it. He was doing this. So when I saw the 2 coming out, I took off across the parking lot about 80 miles an hour. And when I got there, I skidded right up to him, scared the crap out of all of them. They wet their pants. Oh my. I jumped out of the car, and I said to my daughter, I told you you're not allowed to see this guy. And I said, you give me the keys to your car. You just lost it. give me the keys to your car. I gave them to my wife, and I said, I want you to drive her home. I don't want to see what's going to happen to this guy right now. Now, I'm taking a chance because this guy's been younger than I am. But he didn't know. He didn't know what I might know. And by the way, I do pack, but I didn't at that time. I do now. And I got a CPL, and so does everybody in my family now. But
Awesome.
I went up to that guy, and I said, I told you to stay away from my daughter, and I'm giving you 10 seconds to get out of my sight, or they're going to shovel you off the sidewalk. And he took off running. That was the last we ever saw of him.
Wow.
Wow.
Except that he wrote me a letter 2 months later and said, Mr. Ray, I have to respect you and your guts and how you stick up for your daughter.
Mm.
I said, Dad, nobody else's fathers did that, and I want you to know you saved my life. Thank you.
Wow.
There you go.
Man.
Dads,
That,
be involved. You are the dad. When it comes to college, the kids are going to say, I want to go to this university. I want to go to that university. What did I say? You can go to any university you want. I'm happy. You pick the university, you can go. But I'll pay for these 5.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You go to one of these 5, I'll pay the whole thing for you, even if I have to go into debt. You want to go to any other one? You pay.
Yeah.
That's where they went. Steubenville.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Good choices.
Absolutely.
Good job. That's some great advice.
Man.
That's some really, really.
Yeah, this
great
is-
advice.
So just to summarize this part of our discussion, moms and dads, you're in charge. The kid's not in charge. The world tells you commercials, always the daughter's teaching her dad. Come on, Dad, don't you? You know, you watch television. It's always the dumb girl who's telling her father how to fix things or do things. The dad's always the idiot. No, the dad's not the idiot. The kid's the idiot. Parents should be in charge. The world is trying to tell us that we should do whatever our kids say. Nonsense. The kids are going to do what I say as long as they're in my home.
Amen.
Yep.
Father's role, true.
I love it.
Yep.
I've got some changes to make.
There you
Some
go.
improvements to make. This is good.
6 daughters. Here we go.
Yeah.
Ready to go for it.
Yes.